evening, contest chairman, chief judge, Toastmasters, and my fellow guests and future father of the bride. Well, welcome to you all. My name is Brian Cole, and I'm here today. I'm hoping to do three things with you today. Hoping to share a story with you about what I consider to be Canadian hero hours. These are all the hours that people put into saving lives each and every year. I want to share with you a personal story that I have about some people that saved my mother's life. I'm going to ask you all to answer a question, and that's one simple question. Are you a hero? Are you a hero? Now, I know there's evaluators working. I'd like you all to take that little piece of paper that I gave you, and I want you to write this on the front. Am I a hero? Am I a hero? And below that, I'm going to give you a number, and this number is crucial. This is, I've worked it out. If you added up all the nurse hours, all the doctor's hours, all the ambulance drivers, all the fire department, all the police department, all the time we have these emergency workers out there saving lives, if you add up all those hours in a year in Canada, you get this massive number. So I'm going to read this out to you, and I'd like you to write it down. I'll read it out in digits, and then I'll tell you the number. So it's 1/8, so 18 billion. 1/8, comma, 882 million. So you've got 1/8, comma, 882. Now you've got comma, 366,000, so that's 366. And the last three digits, 283. So I went through and I built my spreadsheet, and I got 18,882,366,283 hours that people spent saving lives in Canada. Now I'm going to share you a story. You've already heard one sad story tonight. I'm going to share another with you, but before I tell the story, I want you all to know that it has a happy ending. It's got a very happy ending, but the details are a little bit disturbing. I grew up in Tsawwassen, and my mom used to drive my sister to dance lessons here in Ladner, and it was one late evening. My mom was driving back along Arthur Drive, coming over the Delta Port Way. And some idiot coming the other way, going 90 kilometers an hour, decided to pass, coming up the overpass. So you can imagine when you're there, my mom had no option, and she was hit. She was going 60, he was going 90. And you can imagine that the result was not a pleasing sight. But we're very fortunate in the Delta area that we have some wonderful people. We had 5 firemen that spent 3 hours cutting my mom out of that car. 15 hours. 2 ambulance attendants spent 4 hours with my mom getting her over to the hospital in New West, total of 8 hours. 2 months in hospital, 10,080 nurse hours were spent nursing my mother back to health. And 350 surgical hours were spent piecing my mother back together. Grand total, 10,583 hours were spent to save my mother's life. And I thank all those people so much for that. And I want to ask you all this question, and I'd like you to stand up if you can answer yes to this. Would any of you be willing to save my mother's life? I'd like you to stand up if you're willing to save. Thank you very much. And I know we're all Canadian, and this is a very Canadian. I'd like to ask you the second question. If saving my mother's life involved, please stay standing if you can. But if saving my mother's life involved a donation, would you still save my mother's life?
Donation of what?
Well, let me ask all the blood donors in the room to remain standing. If you donate blood regularly, please remain standing. Big thank you to all of the people that are standing in this room. It's one thing that people don't, please have a seat, it's one thing that people don't think about, all those doctor's hours, all those nurse hours, all those ambulance attendants, all those surgical hours mean nothing, absolutely nothing, if when she got to the hospital there wasn't blood that could be put into her system. The average surgical patient requires 50 units of blood to recover from a car accident. 50 units. Did you know that a religious blood donor, a blood donor that never misses a session, can only give 6, maybe 6.5 units of blood in a given year? 6.5. So do the math. That's over 8.5 years, assuming that person never gets sick, to donate enough blood for one car accident. How many times have you been driving down Highway 17, Highway 10, you see a minor car accident, but you don't think about what that actually means? What it means is that we need to have blood donors out there actively donating blood to help save lives. We've got to, our parents, our grandparents are fabulous at donating. They're fabulous because they saw the war times, they saw the need, they were pushed to go and give blood, but it's not in our generation so much anymore. People don't think about it. BC is a net importer of blood. Canadian Blood Services won't tell you that because they don't want to scare people into donating. But it's so crucial. We're one of the most active communities or provinces in the country, but we're not out there supporting our neighbors. 52% of all Canadians will require blood. Think about that. That means I can all but guarantee you that one day your father, your mother, your uncle, your niece, your nephew, your aunt, your mother, your father, and I hope never your children are going to require blood. So the question is where do you want that blood to come from? You've got this amazing opportunity to go out and help people, and it does require that donation, but it's only 1 hour of your time to make your first donation. It's 1 hour of time to go out there and actually make that effort to help people in this world. Now, you all said you were willing to save my mother's life. The question is are you going to take that first step? Now, one of the things I'm always very embarrassed about this presentation is I started this presentation out with a lie. I have no idea how many hero hours there are in Canada. I really don't. But all of you now in your pocket, in your folders, have a toll-free number that's available to you for Canadian Blood Services. That's a number that tomorrow morning when you get up, you can pick up the phone, you can call that number, and you can find out when the next blood donor clinic is coming to your community. Now, some people cannot donate because of their history, because of an illness, but there are still ways you can help. You've got that little piece of paper. If you are one of those people, if you don't qualify, hand it off to someone, ask them to donate. Ask them to support you. Your other option is to actually go down to UBC. They've got a great research facility at UBC. Canada has one of the safest blood supplies in Canada because of this great research facility we have at UBC. So even if you can't qualify to donate to the general population, your blood can be used for research. Just as important, one of the reasons we do have the safest blood systems in Canada. So you do have that in your wallet, and there is that one question above it, am I a hero? So I'd ask each and every one of you that simple question. Ask yourself in the morning, are you a hero?